Welcome, graduates, faculty, and staff colleagues. I'm Audrey Bilger, president of Reed College. Even though I'm completing my second year here, this is my very first commencement, and I'm beyond delighted to look out and see you all here in person. Getting to this point has been truly extraordinary. Welcome, family, friends, faculty, students, and staff watching online. Our students could not have done this without you. We are all grateful to you. Everyone, please stand up and applaud the loved ones who are with us in spirit, viewing us on their screens. Please be seated. I'm going to give you some exercise here this morning, because now I'd like to invite our graduating seniors to stand. I also want to acknowledge our graduates who are joining us virtually, and you may stand too. So stand up so we can acknowledge you. I'm going to say something first, though. This year, graduates, has been unbelievably challenging, and you have persevered with grace and resilience. We are all so very proud of you. Let's hear it for the class of 2021. Please be seated. Next, I'll ask our faculty who are here to stand, please. Faculty, we are grateful for your presence today and for all that you and your colleagues have done to make this academic year possible. You inspire and encourage, challenge and support. You have dedicated your lives to scholarship, creativity, research, and teaching. Reed would not be Reed without our amazing faculty. Applause for the faculty. Please be seated. As a specialist in the novel as a literary genre, I must say that if the past year's events were featured in a work of fiction, we would call that book improbable. Surrealism crossed with Gothic dystopia. A global pandemic, our campus transformed, masked faces, virtual classrooms, daily health checks, saliva testing, ooh. Add to this the historical racial reckoning that got underway almost a year ago, a presidential election season like no other, and an insurrection in the US Capitol. In the fall, we endured a week of fires and the worst air quality in the world. Then in the spring, a record-breaking snow and ice storm destroyed our gyms. You could not have made this up. At a certain point, we stopped asking what might come next, because we knew that plot twists had become the norm. And through all of this, graduates, you persisted. This commencement ceremony will mark the end of your college days, and most important, today will be the beginning of your future as Reed alumni. You will continue to write your stories, and it is my fervent hope that you will keep us posted and bring back tales of your adventures, creations, and discoveries. Together, we have written a remarkable chapter in the history of the college. We have forged connections that will hold strong. Before you turn the page, breathe in and look around. This moment is precious. Take it in. Class of 2021, congratulations.
Good morning, class of 2021, distinguished faculty, friends, family, and guests, most of whom are witnessing this ceremony via video, members of the staff, members of the board. I'm Roger Perlmutter. It's my privilege to chair the Board of Trustees of Reed College, and on behalf of the Reed Institute, it's my privilege to welcome you to the 2021 graduation ceremony, a graduation ceremony that, as President Bilger has outlined, was really quite improbable. You know, the college was founded on the principle that critical thinking and the close reading of texts was necessary to enable students to realize their potential. I think it's fair to say that critical reasoning is especially important in the current context, at a time of great challenge around the country and around the world. I won't enumerate again, as President Bilger did, the adverse circumstances that you have endured. But it is especially important that critical reasoning prosper under adversity. Now, it was the received wisdom a year ago that it would be impossible for students at a small private liberal arts college, and particularly at Reed College, to have an in-person learning experience because they simply wouldn't follow the rules. And what you've demonstrated is not only that you follow the rules, but that your respect for one another and for the community was so strong that in reality, during this pandemic, the safest place in the state of Oregon was likely the Reed College campus. It's extraordinary. On behalf of the college, I'd like to express my gratitude to all of you and to all members of the community for having made this possible. It is a great privilege for all of us to be able to celebrate with you today your graduation. Thank you.
It is my immense pleasure to congratulate you on your accomplishments as Reed graduates and welcome you officially into the alumni community. As is already a major theme today, I can only imagine what you have been through this last year as seniors thesising and finishing your time at Reed during a global pandemic. And frankly, I'm in awe of your awesomeness. As is customary, I am here as the president of the Alumni Board on behalf of the alumni community to welcome you into our ranks. When I set out to write my remarks for today, I searched online for the video for my own commencement to get inspiration from whoever was the board president that year, but it turns out that the full 2013 video wasn't online, so that was a dead end. So then I started trying to remember back to this moment 8 years ago and realized that maybe it actually didn't matter that I couldn't find the video because I wasn't really listening anyway. No shade to the alumni board president of 2013. I just had other things on my mind. What I do remember is that I was sitting there as the first in my family to graduate college, simultaneously thrilled beyond measure that I had actually done what I set out to do, and still terrified that someone had made a mistake and that I wasn't meant to graduate from Reed, let alone be here in the first place. I also remember that my anxiety over completing my PE requirement as a second semester senior manifested into a particularly vivid dream montage while I was in my seat, where someone from the registrar's office came over and pulled me aside during the ceremony to let me know that I wasn't done yet, and that in order to graduate on time, that I would need to play and win a one-on-one badminton match against each member of my thesis committee on the front lawn immediately following commencement. So, while perhaps some of my peers were far more attentive during this portion of the day's program, I, on the other hand, was busy thinking through the strategies I would need to best Mark Schneiberg at badminton. And in my mind, he was a fierce competitor, but I need you to know that I would ultimately prevail. Thanks. Yes. In all seriousness, though, I remember being very anxious in my seat under this tent. My inattentiveness to the speaker was not about boredom, but of an opposite set of emotions. I was so excited to be graduating Reed, but terrified to leave at the same time. I had found a community at Reed that I valued and loved deeply, and that was a surprise for me. And preparing to leave that community and embark onto the next chapter of my life was legitimately scary. What I didn't realize at that point, however, was that there was a huge community of alumni out there that I could connect with and find my place in. The Reed alumni community was and is far larger and more diverse than I expected. When I was a student, it was easy for me to frame Reed within the very small boundaries of my own experiences on campus. But the Reed community is much larger than that. The Reed community includes an alumni population that spans across the decades and around the globe, and they are very much interested in building community with all of you. There are Reedies everywhere, for better or for worse. And as you embark onto the next chapter of your life, I encourage you to reach out to your local alumni volunteer networks, whether you're going to be living in chapter cities or not, and connect with other Reedies socially and professionally, because there are friendships and resources waiting for you. As someone that went through Reed feeling very different from most of my peers, being able to connect with a significant number of other alumni that share my backgrounds or identities and experiences has been awesome, but also very validating. This has been made easier recently with the addition of the Reed Alumni Affinity Networks, developed by the Alumni Board's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. We now have the Alumni of Color Network, the First Gen Alumni Network, and the LGBTQIA2S+ Alumni Network. So if these groups represent you and your communities, I highly recommend connecting and meeting the alumni that are active in these networks. If you aren't part of an identity community, if you are part of an identity community that we don't have an affinity network for yet, please reach out, because we would love to work with you to build the alumni community that you want and that you need. Now, I certainly realize that some of you might need a break from Reed right now, and that's cool. We will be here for you when you're ready, I promise. But perhaps some of you haven't gotten your fill yet. If this is the case, I want to encourage you to consider joining in on Alumni Board efforts as part of one of our committees. We're always looking for folks to join our work, and we absolutely need your perspectives, experiences, and voices to help shape our community as we continue to grow and move into the future. When I became an alum, I didn't know much about the Alumni Board at all, but I did know that I wanted to contribute to the Reed community and to help push Reed to be its best self. I found a way to do that as a member of the Alumni Board, and I have been fortunate enough to work with some very awesome Reedies in this capacity. But regardless of how you do it, engaging in the alumni community is something I promise you won't forget. You might connect with folks that could become lifelong friends that you haven't met yet, or get the resources you need to develop your passion or your careers, or even find new people to roll your eyes at when they use words like hegemonic in conversation. Either way, you will build a more robust network of support that will shape and grow your relationship with Reed into the future. And you never know. You might be standing here one day giving similar remarks, feeling just as excited and honored as I am to welcome the newest members of the Reed community into the alumni fold. On behalf of the Alumni Board and as your president, I am honored and humbled to offer you congratulations, class of 2021.
So you can go there when, excellent. It is my great honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Ali Nouri, graduate from the class of 1997. Dr. Nouri is the senior advisor to the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, and has been nominated by President Biden to be Assistant Secretary of Energy. At Reed, Dr. Nouri studied biology. He went on to earn a PhD in molecular biology from Princeton. He has held positions ranging from president of the Federation of American Scientists to serving as an advisor in the US Senate. Secretary Granholm has this to say about Dr. Norrie, quote, "Not only is Ali a tested consensus builder, he's a scientist who understands our climate challenges backwards and forwards. He embodies the dynamic expertise and passion that we need to bring everyone on board the clean energy revolution." I had the pleasure of visiting with Dr. Norrie, Ali, this morning, and we had a good conversation, among many other things, about the role of critical thinking and the ability to analyze and understand information to the workings of a democratic society. It is such a privilege and pleasure to be able to introduce Dr. Ali Norrie to you this morning.
Thank you for that kind introduction, President Bilger, and for your phenomenal leadership, particularly during these challenging times with the pandemic. Thank you, faculty, staff, trustees, everyone who makes Reed such a great place. But most importantly, congratulations, class of 2021. It's a huge honor to be with you today, and a lot of pressure to not drop the ball. After all, I'm speaking to Reedies who are pros at deconstructing and debunking arguments. I learned that pretty quickly when I arrived on campus some 20 years ago. Back then, I didn't know where my life would take me, but I sure didn't expect to be here before you today. I was an accidental Reedie. I'd immigrated with my family from Tehran to Portland in the mid-1980s. My parents, like many immigrants, wanted their kid to be a doctor, and not just any doctor, but a medical doctor. And because my cousin had gone to Reed and had become a doctor, my fate was pretty much sealed. To my parents, anyone going to Reed would obviously be on the same path. I didn't even know that visiting college campus was a thing, so I applied, and without ever setting foot on campus, despite living just 20 minutes away, I enrolled. So you can imagine my surprise when I showed up for the first time and realized that Reed is not exactly your typical school. I had culture shock when we moved to Portland from Iran, but this was a whole new level. Students looked and talked and dressed differently than anyone I'd ever met before. Some of them had green hair. Others were wearing clothes that were at least a decade out of date. From the past, but also from the future. They listened to bands I'd never heard of and talked about movies I'd never seen. But beneath the surface, something was very clear. This was a school for students who did not accept the status quo. Whether you want to call that divergent thinking or nonconformity, the bottom line is that Reedies questioned and challenged everything. And these discussions consumed our lives, not just in the classroom, but even when we were socializing in the student union, or when we were procrastinating in the library lobby, which by the way, is the best place to procrastinate. After all, how can you possibly feel guilty for not studying when you can literally see the library? I guess we were counting on osmosis. And in all of these conversations, our assumptions and pre-existing biases about the world were constantly being challenged by people with very different perspectives than ours. And it took me a decade when I came to realize just how unique and important that was. When I was a graduate student, the United States went to war with Iraq. We now know that that was one of the worst decisions we have ever made as a nation. But at the time, it happened simply because too many people, even those in places of privilege, just didn't ask the right questions. They didn't consider the kind of evidence that would have challenged their underlying assumptions. Quite simply, they didn't challenge the status quo way of thinking about things, the way Reedies do. And for me, this was also personal. I had grown up in a country that was at war. And I was shocked that we could take such a drastic step based on rhetoric and not on facts. And that's a big reason why I was compelled to change my career track. So after doing bench science for 10 years, I left molecular biology and plunged headfirst into public policy. Why did I think I was equipped to make such a drastic change? It was the well-rounded liberal arts education I got here at Reed, in class, and probably even more so out of class. So my advice to you today is not to stress too much about the perfect job and the perfect path and the perfect anything out of college. You're going to test and learn. You're going to try new things and pivot. You'll have lots of different jobs and many career options in the years ahead. And that's a good thing, because the world is changing fast and you'll have to constantly adjust, adapt, and change with it. And in the face of all that change, you will use what you learned here at Reed to ground you and to center you. My Reed thesis advisor, Professor Stephen Arch, who is sadly no longer with us, he would always say, we didn't come to Reed to learn a particular craft or a particular job. We were here to learn how to think. And those critical thinking skills, when you combine that with your curiosity, your creativity, and your openness to diverse ideas, those are the things that make you versatile and able to tackle anything in life. And more importantly, to have a fulfilling life trajectory. And that's especially important now because there are so many big challenges waiting to be tackled. For example, the disproportionate impact of climate change on the poor and disadvantaged communities, here at home and around the world. The wealth gap, where a small set of people have managed to accumulate most of the wealth on the planet, and the power that comes with that wealth. Or the fact it's the year 2021, and we still have groups of people trying to disenfranchise other groups of people from voting. And when you look at all these problems, they're all rooted in the same thing. You've got entrenched interests who refuse to let go of the status quo because of the many benefits they enjoy from their historical place of privilege. And I want to be clear about one thing here. We all occupy such positions of privilege in one way or another. And the challenge is to recognize that, both in ourselves and in society, and to push back. That's what you and your Reed education have been all about. All those conversations, in and out of class, have been about pushing back. That's why you and those who came before you changed the Humanities 110 curriculum and made it more inclusive of more cultures and their voices. That's why you established a community support network during the pandemic to support your fellow students who were in need. And now you have the privilege and the responsibility to take all of this knowledge, all of this training, and change the world. No pressure. But here's the good news. You're graduating at a time when there's real momentum for change. There's a desire to put science and evidence first. We just elected leaders who are making the climate crisis a central piece of their agenda. There's a national conversation to address systemic racism, whether it's at the polls or throughout our institutions, including in our cherished institutions of higher learning. But for all this to succeed and to be sustained, it needs you. It needs all those skills you've honed while you were here at Reed. Those skills that you mastered during the senior thesis. The ability to identify problems, gather evidence, test your hypotheses, and come up with answers. Every Reed graduate learns how to do those things. But you actually went beyond that. You did something no class has ever done before. You wrote your thesis in the most difficult of circumstances, in the middle of a pandemic, when you had limited hours when you could use the library. You had to take turns using the music studio or the laboratory. You had to devise new ways of meeting your thesis advisors and your collaborators. And even today, when you're all said and done and graduating from college, your family, your loved ones, even they can't be here to celebrate your special day with you. Quite simply, you confronted adversity. And what did you do? You fought through it. And that's why you're here today. This puts you in a select group of people who have persevered through difficult times. And a feature of these people is that they go on to do great things. It's often said of the greatest generation, those who went through the Great Depression and then went on to fight in World War II, that it was that perseverance that helped make them be great. And whether it's a soldier returning from war, or a single mother who sees her kids through college, or a cancer survivor who goes on to start a foundation, that perseverance is what forged in those people a character of strength that enabled them to do great things. And after what you've been through, class of 2021, I can't wait to see all the amazing things you're going to accomplish. Thank you.
Will the candidates of the Division of the Arts please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of the Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Mo Allen. Kieran Andrews. Sebastian Bishop. Rollo Brandon. Moira Brown. Clementine Kulf. Greta Viehweger. Emma Ganger Spivak. Molly Linden Harrow. Henry William Oberholzer. Precious Romo. Maria Sáenz Rodriguez. Connor Seymour. Maria Wilkerson. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of History and Social Sciences please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of the Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of History and Social Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Isabel Adesco. Demeter Anderson. Alyssa Andrichik. Shir Lev Bach. Mariana Beer Chapa. Tess Buchanan. Nathaniel Burrows. Jane Calderbank. Nick Campili. Andrea Campos. Alicia Chen. Quinn Chen. Lulu Davis. Megan Ely. Eliza Rose Schwartz Feigelson. Fernando Salomón Flamenco. Cheryl Falk. Sam Givens. Oliver Hillenkamp. Matt Jarvis. Jessica G. Annie Jian. Li Rui Jiao. Omar Kazmi. Kevin Kuramoto. Jonathan Lederman. Rebecca Lewitt. Michael Ligamari. Chloe Murphy Lombardo. Antonia McNaughton. Jack Mader. Apurva Mangipudi. Theo Mathie O'Brien. Paul Malamphy. Lauren Mondrosky. Anesu Ndoro. Max Nobel. Dylan Parker. Carmen Perez. Abhi Rajshekar. Jack Reeder. Skyland Rice. Mayu Rofe. Lucy Sagu. Tabia Ishwi Schmidt. Maya Sieber. Layla Shokat. Nathan Smith. Daniel Spurtus. Trudy Valentino. Anna Voles. Caden Aloysius Waite. Sam Williams Barron. Victoria Wolf Yop. Ming Yan. Ye Zituan. 玉系柱。Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Literature and Languages please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of Literature and Language.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Dashiell Allen. Brian Gregory Bloom. Fiona Brackley. Lindsay Calderon. Allison Dennis. Owen Hart. Jordan Hennessy. Isabel Lafke. Gabrielle Lafrata. Ethan Austin Lambright. Saroa Flatus Lear. Misha Lerner. Emma McNeil. Sarah Metzger. Alex Morgan. Kyle Nash. Faye Parks. Eliza Phillips. Benjamin Reed. Elliot Rosenthal. Elise Tangadal. Aiden Walker. Sarah Shanti Sitaram Wolf. Keziah Wong. Patrick Woodard. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Mathematical and Natural Sciences please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of Mathematical and Natural Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Jackson Anderson. Francis Bear. Case Benkendorfer. Aiden Berryman. Lenice Ariana Blair. Tyler Michael Bortel. Naomi Gushiken Boss. Delaney Lenore Brubaker. Sophia Rose Bruno. Mitchell Burdorf. Ryan Calloway Burris. Sarah Buta. Riley Cannon. Sushruta Chandramoli. Esther Tairong Chen. Emma Cooney. Simon Couch. Isadora Dew de Castro. Rai Dennis. Catherine Descant. Luke Doms. Kendall Dragotto. Liam Farley. Billy Fish. Evan Eisendrath Franchier. Alex Fu. Lu Jia Gao. Segovia Marina Garcia y Atencio. Leo Gartner. Sam Jeanette. Alfonso Gomez Velasquez. Callan Grimm. Gu Zheng Yao. Addison Gwynn. Muhammad Usman Hafiz. Alexander Confortini Hardy. Andrew Renee Harmon. Casey Harris. Hannah Hellerstein. David Herrero Quevedo. Brenham Hooper. Aaron Huang. Matthew Huang. Maximilian Jennings. Chunxi Ji. Alexander John. Lizzie Knight. Jiarong Li. Yilin Li. Liu Mu Xi. Yi Lian Liu. Viola Lum. Sarah Kingsland Mabius. Peter Marcus. Kiana Angelina McBride. Robert McCall. Ben McCormick. Asa McNaughton. Hannah Sophie Elisabeth Meyer. Quinn Morgan. Casey Ottenbacher. Kai Pinkard. Eli Popoli. Garrett Townsend Price. Mathis Richards. Tyler Salazar. Henry Sheffer. Isaac Schumann. Taylor Seydoux. Josie Sarabin Stromberg. Timothy Shinners. Eli Sobel. Alexander Striff. Jonathan Takagi. Ali Taki. Meredith Toyce. Ruth Volsquire. James Vesto. Daniel Wang. Riley Waugh. Grayson White. Senta Giselle Wiederholtz. Lucas Young. Laura Yoshida. Roger Tang. Dao Zihui. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Philosophy, Religion, Psychology, and Linguistics please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of Philosophy, Religion, Psychology, and Linguistics.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Jesse Atkin. Rains Baker. Kira Beck. August Bickett. Andrea Bryant. Jagannath Kadambi. Naim Kurimji. Lily Davis. Elise Garrison. Maximilian Halperin. Kyla Hayworth. Ursula Hershey. Sebastian Link Hogness. Maxwell Cantor. Teddy Lindberg. Victoria Liu. Nara Markowitz. Nalani Genova McFadden. Margarita Melnikova. Jordan Moyes. Alina Ortiz. Catherine Elaine Owen. Madhav Venunarayan Pule. Nemo Shen. Luke Stillwell. Savannah Sulk. Dylan Randall Wong. Yue Shi. Sisi Yin. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates who have completed interdisciplinary majors please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates both present and in absentia who have completed interdisciplinary majors.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Sisam Adhikari. Deirdre Baker. Rowan Kaylee Veritome. Josh Bretthauer. Ethan Brisley. Rose Cole Cohen. Ashley Cook. Olivia Dow. Nebiat Esobalo. Pixie Freeman. Isabel Diaz Hoff. Gunyuan Hu. Michael Kelly. Jonah Leor Cohn. Natalie Lasco. Jonathan Lee. Eva Licht. Lena Lowe. Claudio Malagrino. Andre Marsavin. Natalie Murphy. Ruby May Novak. Avian Osthuizen. Grisha Post. Emmett Isaiah Powers. Connie Pullen. Lux Steinberg. BJ Rai. Yufeng Run. Yesenia Lisette Salinas. Noah Schablum. Ada Springelmeyer. Aislinn Leiter Style. Kaya Turovsky. Jules Hodis Vaca. Sonia Vera. Matt Hauran Wan. Carolyn Elizabeth Weiss. Sterling White. Oleg Vujicic. Stella Robleski. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Liberal Studies please rise?
Madam President, I present for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies the candidates, both present and in absentia, the candidate for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the candidates the degree of Master of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Mary Louise Anderson. Lynette Yetter. Will the graduates please be seated?
At this time, we would like to honor all the graduates who could not join us today.
Jamie Blackwell. Pablo Blanco. Tyler Benty. April Brown. Nicholas Cecil. Nick Chayachakorn. Tiffany Chang. Kyuyun Cho. Emma Lyria Chomsky. Daniela Correa. Emily Crook. Tom Davies. Leave DePeace. Maud Dias. Harriet Nausicaa Ramona Enriquez. Naomi Fastovsky. Marie Faulkner. Pauline Fleming. Shingang He. Caitlin Hepp. Taylor Victoria Eisensee. Ian Jackson. Maya Jensen. Noah Koster. Kathleen Quenda. Theo Philippe Lavier. Christy Lay. Adrian Mathieu. Nina Amira Matthews. Addison McAllister. Malcolm McCarthy. Hannah McFadden. Drew McGinnis. Paul Mitchell. Bodhi Molinari Kopelman. Alan Moore. Celia Morel Borgstrom. Peter Mulgrew. Sophie Naranjo Rivera. Maria Antoinette Panopoulos. Matt Passarelli. Abigail Lynn Peterson. John Brooks Dana Petrinovich. Richard Pham. Sarah Pollock. Lillian Chi. Weihang Qin. Lauren Rabe. Danny Riso. Maxwell Rosenberg. Caleb Saucy. Nicholas Schlesinger. Sage Schwartz. Rishi Shastri. Jacob Shaw. Layla Siegel Zygmunt. Margaret Ann Slane. Asher Smith. Emma Suders. Ari Stahl. Espen Swanson. David Tomas Paris. Hannah Tutt. Santiago Valencia. Sophia Verity. Drew Veltrup. Xiao Tian Wang. Shannon Wells Moran. Carter Williams. Brenna Rye Simpson. Ian Wabi. Rebecca Xie. Shulin Xu. Matthew Yanchev. Jessica Yang. Sophia Verity. Zachary Yusha. I now invite your applause for the class of 2021.